My name is Josh Mika. I'm currently the LRC director over at BB Elementary, basically teacher librarian, glorified school librarian. But anyway, yeah, so teach about 20, 30 classes depending on the year every week, and see every kid, and try not only try to model like what I do in the library field, like through lessons connected to the curriculum, but then trying to obviously run a library, manage a collection, do all those other things too. So. But I view myself as a teacher librarian. I focus on the teaching. I was a 4th and 5th grade teacher for 8 years before I was hired to the library media role or position. But that's where my district was going, and that's where I think that it, at least especially at the elementary, I think that's really where it belongs as a teacher librarian. That's what I call myself. Yes. The teaching, yeah, I'd definitely say the teaching. I mean, I take, like I was saying before, I take classroom curriculum, I take, the library media role, and then I, try to take the so many terms that it goes by is that nobody likes anymore, like the, information literacy, the 21st century skills, and I just try to blend those all together, and I consider that my curriculum. So while the teaching part, I would say, is my answer to your question, it's made up of those 3 components. Wasn't there. So I started with a fixed schedule with everybody, but then, and it's pretty much the same from what you just saw recently, so I have gaps in my day. So 30 classes, each about half an hour. I try to do like a 20-minute mini lesson and 10-minute book checkout. And then the gaps that I had in my schedule, those few half an hour, or sometimes if we're lucky an hour, break. That's when I could get the other stuff, that I'm so responsible for, like ordering the books, or what are we doing with magazines this year, and other projects. But as much as I love those, I found myself wanting to do more of a coaching role and getting into the classroom. So it was, it would be an opportunity for me to, model a lot of technology, and then, sorry about the giggles in the background, be a lot of modeling technology, and then, it would be like that. Like, the thing is, teachers would always stay, and that's something that's changed recently, and honestly hasn't worked out as well, sadly. But basically, teachers come in, 20-minute mini lesson, they stay with the kids, I'm teaching the lesson, but I'm modeling for them a lot of technology use. The kids are getting it too, but it's really kind of an all-ages show, The teachers are getting something out of it, the kids are getting a lot out of it. They go to check out books. I have 5-10 minutes to talk to that teacher, collaborate a little bit, or more importantly, I've put my foot in the door by just modeling technology. I would have like a teacher come up and be like, "Hey, I saw you used Prezi for today's presentation. I want to do that for mine," or better yet, my kids want to do that. I'm like, well, let's carve out some time to get together and talk and learn about Prezi, and figure out how you could use it in your curriculum. So it's again blending of many roles, but as a teacher, modeling, I get myself in to help coach and support from a technology standpoint, if nothing else, and then there's some good coaching and collaboration along the way. So I learn from them just as much as, they learn from me. So the reason I say that's changed is because now I'm in a fixed schedule and I still have those gaps. I had to fight for it, but I have that still. They were going to make me an hour-long special, where I wouldn't have any time to do anything else. But now the teachers don't stay. So that coaching that I, have, I guess, been really lucky to have, for the past 8 years, that kind of washed away, and I've done one project, unfortunately. Whereas by this time of year, two-thirds of the way through, I could probably have told you that I've, done myriad projects, and I've only had one. And I've tried, but it's just not a good schedule. It's not a good setup, at least if you want that collaboration. Everybody goes through stages, I guess you could say. So a lot of people, when they join a social media powerhouse like Twitter, where it's just like this, people describe it a lot like a river rushing through, and you like dip your foot into it every now and then, or scoop out some goodies along the way. But I've gotten to the point where I would start by lurking. Everybody does, and just checking out, see what this is all about, and then eventually throwing out some ideas, or more importantly, like retweeting somebody else's ideas. And so I use the professional one a lot. I've run and co-led several chats for our district, trying to get everybody together in our district and just have a theme, and then have everybody throw down and talk about a certain topic related to our district. That's fun. I've led some for the Apple Distinguished Educators. I've led some chats, or tag some things. I guess it's a way for me to collaborate with people sometimes that are so far away, but mostly it's to get ideas. I was doing a QR course about 5-6 years ago, and I was just like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? And I was on Twitter, and it was just flowing by, and I was like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my god. I found like 3 things, and it was all by happenstance, but I pretty much had my lesson, or my workshop done like that night because of Twitter. It's the library. I think I saw somebody's tagline is, a place to discover our passions. And I would say, make it interesting, make it relevant, make it fun. If you don't have the half an hour or hour or whatever it is to actually teach and work with the kids, make them be interested in coming to the library to learning more. So I think if you can come into the role and establish yourself as someone who is there to help, and you do, then I think that's huge. Because the biggest thing every librarian, whether it be a school librarian, teacher librarian, public librarian, is advocating for why libraries are here, what we can do, and whether it be to support the community, like in a public library or school. But we're always fighting and advocating for our jobs and our expertise. So we should be a part of everything when it comes to curricular design, actually implementing curriculum, helping with research. We should be a part of that. But just always being there, making yourself relevant to the community, and having the community realize what you have, and how you can help them in any way. Then what does it look like today? When you have information every second, anytime you want, and too much in that respect, how can the librarian help you to sift through that? So there you go.